listening to AchieveRadio.com. A new drummer for a new awakening.
Hi, this is Anne Marie, and how are you doing today, Joseph?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you doing?
Good. I'm wondering if Mr. Bill can make my video come alive on the corner there, and I can see you.
I thought we looked different. We
You
look a
thought
bit pixelated.
I look pixelated. I do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh
But
dear.
on the little one up there, it does not. On the little
Well,
screen.
yeah, but we look different, that's for sure. Sort of like when they're trying to hide your face on the news or something.
Or trying to show somebody's breasts and they don't want to, somebody has been unveiled and they want to hide it.
I look better this way.
So how is it going with you? I said, everybody, today we are celebrating Spring Cleaning Day with power washing any of your concerns. And the number to call in for a psychic reading is 602-666-6027. And you will be able to get a wonderful reading from Joseph Grych, and he is a keen reader and reads as Lantern Bearer. See, I did not say. And your hair is really getting long, Joseph.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's real. It looks real, doesn't it? No.
Well, I never thought for a second that it wasn't.
Yeah, it's real, yeah. Well, in June of 2014, I had a buzz cut, and that was it.
Oh, okay. I thought for a minute, 15, 16. Yeah, that gives you 2 hours to grow it. I don't think I ever saw you with your buzz cut.
That was like, well, let's see, about maybe 6 inches per year. So,
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Your hair's going to be a lot longer than mine here pretty soon then.
Well, yeah. See, I've never just let it grow and left it alone before. When I was younger, I had my hair styled a lot, and then I had a lot of different haircuts, throughout my life. I mean, I had the normal haircut you typically see, and I had some, mod haircuts and stuff, and I had bad haircuts. And the buzz cuts happened because I went to a barber in the country out here, and basically anything that you asked him to do resulted in you looking the same. So it's sort of like, oh, it's great. Thank you. And
I don't want to
and I have to say, it was. I liked it well enough to do it 3 times, because I thought, well, it was different, and it was low maintenance, and it was really interesting. I couldn't leave my head alone because I wasn't used to feeling that bristle and my scalp like that. I just kept touching it all the time. And but I guess I'm prone to play with my hair anyway, regardless of how long it is. I'm going to be playing with it. So,
yeah.
But I decided I would just let it grow and see. I just let it grow and take care of it without doing anything to it, other than brushing it and washing it, and just seeing how long it will get. And I don't want to sit on my hair. I don't want it to be that long. Then it's a nuisance for me. But I thought I would just let it get long and thick.
As well as other places it goes sometimes in horrible times.
Well, I guess I was always kind of a long-haired, because I would have my hair long regardless of what style it was. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't really care about fashion. I When I was working in a conventional job, I tried to, I didn't start out looking conventional because I would just walk in looking how I looked. And at the time, I had long hair and I
Right.
had earrings and all sorts of things. I would walk in being appropriately dressed, but I also did not change my look. And I always got hired for my job. I never had a problem getting a job,
Well,
really.
you know what they say, and I can't remember whether it was Lana that told me this, that some people believe that our psychic energy came through our hair, and I think some nations, like maybe India or something like that, actually cover their hair for protection, but they believe that the hair. Is like your tentacles out to the universe, and
That's
it
how I
brings
kind of
that.
feel about it in a
Uh,
fanciful sort of. I mean, if I want to get deep about it, yeah, I could. I mean, you certainly do increase your size. Like, say, if I had a Kirlian photograph taken, you would see the heat, the energy, being
mhm.
much larger and having a much larger aura. Even in just the human heat sense. And I'm thinking, like, how they showed how a leaf was cut and then they took a Kirlian
Oh, isn't
photograph of
that
it and you still
amazing?
saw the image of the cut portion, the aura of it still. And I'm thinking, gee, that's why,
Mhm.
like, weird things happen. Like, say, if you get a haircut and then you have
Mhm.
a Kirlian photo taken, like, would you still see that hair that you used to have in that photo,
Oh, I'm not
as an
sure.
after shadow? I wonder about that, if it, but I like it because it actually physically it feels very good. It's very comfortable and it keeps me cool in the summer. Believe it or not, if I put my hands under my hair in the hot sun, my scalp is actually quite cool. Um,
This
and what I
makes me
like
feel like
what
we
I
should
like to
be
do is to
playing.
wash my hair, then just go outside in the heat and let the wind blow through my wet hair. And in the winter, it keeps me warm, because you put your jacket on over your hair, your hat, your scarf, and all that around your neck keeps you warm. You know,
Yes.
I don't fluff it outside my coat. That would be impractical to have it blowing around. It's not going to do me
Yeah.
any good.
That's why
So.
people wear hats, and that's why people
I
wear
do wear I
headbands
do
and
wear
all that.
hats though because I don't like to wear sunglasses much. But I like to shade my eyes with hats if I'm outside
Yes.
at a doing of any kind. I like to wear a nice lightweight, nice looking fedora hat. Like
Oh,
a
those
straw
are
one
nice.
or natural colored one. Sometimes the crushable hats are the best ones to take along because they're canvas and they don't get destroyed. You can crush them up and shove them in your pocket. You know,
Mm.
so uh, those have their good points. Yeah.
So, today I thought we would maybe. So, how long have you felt that you have been in tune with your intuitive self, Joseph?
Oh, I think since forever. I mean, I take it for granted. It's a part of my personality and who I am. Uh, it's I would not be who I am if I wasn't. Um, I'd be somebody else.
Let
It's
me
it's
ask
hard
you
to
this.
say. It's hard to say because it's really a part of me. I don't really know. I've always had
Yes.
been aware of certain things, and I've always had very peculiar dreams that were more than just. I, I had learned to differentiate between the types, and then I went off to read and read and read and read, and I used my public library. I had a very good one, but when I was growing up, and I would go to the section that talked about psychic sciences, and I always saw it more of a science. I didn't see it as anything. Um, I saw it as a way that we all are, but we're not all. We don't all have it. Like not everyone's an artist, not everyone's a mechanic, not everybody is. But they start showing the abilities early in life. I mean, if your child has some talent, usually there's some evidence of it. At some
Do you,
point, if they
do
have
you,
the opportunity presented to them. But if, like, a lot of times though, when kids talk about odd things, the reaction to many parents is, "Oh, well, talk about silly things like that. You shouldn't say things like that. You're always telling stories, you're making things up. And rather than really asking more about it, like, just ask.
Yes. Do you feel that, even beyond being intuitive, do you feel that when you're empathic, that it can make it very difficult to be in political work situations when you're feeling that negativity around you?
You have to really put up a wall, a mental wall, sort of a spiritual wall. You could say it's a spiritual wall, you could say it's a wall of light, or you just have to really detach yourself and just kind of step back behind yourself a little bit and just regard it as nothing, and, because it can really get to you if you keep allowing it all in. Um, Sometimes it just gets to be too much, even no matter how good you are at it. Sometimes the situation just gets so absurd that you feel like you're in a warfare situation, even if what's being directed at you energy-wise isn't really deliberate. I mean, not known by the person who's launching it because they're too busy launching in other ways, that are more obvious. But there's also sometimes the energies are just too much, and you just have to pull out and you have to get away. And sometimes people are just too much in general. If you are empathic, it is you have to kind of get a little cold a little bit in order to really deal with it, and you can't. You have to realize, yes, you can be sympathetic, but you cannot allow those energies to be placed upon you. It is not your burden, and that's what I mean, it sounds kind of calloused, but because of the impact it has on you, otherwise, you have to take that attitude. Sort of like if you worked in an emergency room.
Right.
I mean, you cannot. I mean, I, those
You can
people
be
appear,
you
they appear to be cold, but they're not. It's just that,
Oh, are you there? Okay. All right. One of us is frozen, and I'm not sure if it's you or me. Okay, Joseph has got to call in again. He is um, kind of got dumped there. But today I want to let everybody know that if you have a concern, there you are. Hello.
I don't see
Cheers.
anything else except me.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm here too.
Okay, I'm not seeing the screen the way everybody's seeing it, but that's okay. I don't need to.
Okay. Well, you know what
Oh,
I
there
was
we
going
are.
to.
Now it's coming in. We
Okay.
must be having some weather conditions out in the transmission
Could be.
in the studio. Because we're
Well,
not all in the same place. I don't know if anyone notices that, but we're not all in the same place. Now we're not that far from each other. I mean, me and Anne Marie are not far from each other. She's in Iowa and I'm in Illinois, and
right. I grew up around there.
it would be a day
But
trip. It would be a day trip to go one
yes,
way,
it
I
would.
think.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say now the rest of this is done elsewhere, isn't it? It's in
South
what?
Dakota.
South Dakota. So we're like really far away from the studio, and
Yes.
we're actually in our own studios,
Right.
and
And
just you know.
and it's interesting too that each one of us has our own Skype uh, problems, and you can see that also on CNN and places like that, or if you watch news places that
Mhm.
they used to have people sit in their studios with them and have newscasts, but because of Skype, that no longer happens. Now they have big screens on the wall, and people Skype in and they have their interviews that way.
Actually,
lot
I
of
do
time.
like this format.
Mm-hmm.
I like it because it's very comfortable, and I don't have to go out, and I don't have to get into my car and go to a studio or anything.
Fly a plane so you can have a small interview and then spend $100 or $200 and no,
It
thank
gets
you.
very expensive, and this allows allows more to happen by not having all that production expense.
And
You know,
I've had invitations to go on TV shows and be
really
psychic, things like that. And
on
it
TV.
just never
Wow.
appealed. It never appealed to me. To first of all, I don't like going into other people's cesspools,
Yeah.
which is what I consider contaminated negative energy to be in those shows. It's like
Well,
walking into
there's always
somebody
somebody
else.
who says, "Oh, I dare any psychic. I will give any psychic $1 million if they could give me an, if make whatever say, no, my reason, because it's always done by somebody who just really wants to be a troll about it, and expose, to do they're on a debunking thing, and everything's got to be debunked, and
Well,
it's like, well, but
have you?
it's just sort of like, well, yeah, that's fine, but the thing is, first of all, no self-respecting psychic is going to even take that offer because it's because of the spirit in which it's being made.
Well,
Nobody is going to.
not only that, but a lot of
Yeah,
those so-called psychics on those shows are like you and me.
right.
And if they're being paid to go into a house and say that they feel stuff, by God, they're going to feel stuff. And
Yeah,
they've also done a lot of interviews on some of those spook shows and said
yeah.
a lot of times when there's no activity, they'll just increase the music, or they'll run a
Yes.
cat across
Well,
the
actually,
screen, or
the scariest thing and the creepiest thing about most of those shows is the music, and it's just
or, or
that.
all of a sudden they'll
And
put
in
a
real life, it's not like that. We don't get musical cues for stuff. And the other thing is that it doesn't always work. Sometimes I just have an off day, and I'm just really.
and I do not read on those days.
Well, those are days where nobody sees me. I don't even try then. I'm not going to. I do things like that's when I decided that there are sometimes that I take that as a signal that I need to spend time in the domestic and physical world doing things that, that most people would find really boring, and they are everyday boring things.
I have found that I'm much better off if I am, because as a full-time intuitive reader, I usually have a quota that I make each day. I used to get on at 6 o'clock in the morning every day, and
Wow.
I used to read. And the reason I did that was because the international calls, their noon is our 6 o'clock in the morning, and
Yeah.
but then a lot of the places like Keene started having UK sites where they did their stuff alone. They didn't need
Hmm.
readers in America anymore.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to log into my studio here in the radio, and it's not accepting my pass. Um,
I'm
so
noticing that if we don't move around too much, the picture stabilizes for at least a little bit.
it's hard for
If
me
you
not
make
to.
any abrupt movements, everything
Yes, I know.
pixelates.
But
Yeah.
I have to log in. I'll tell you what, Mr. Bill, if you go straight on to Joseph, I'm going to try to get into my site here. And, thank you. So, yeah, I find that what's really funny about some of those shows is how, like, when it gets kind of monotonous, they will run a bony hand over the screen and a scary looking cat or something
Uh,
like that. And it's like, oh, come on. That's just ridiculous.
well, the other problem is that a true haunt is unpredictable. You'd have to have cameras ready all the time, 24/7. And, or at least, if you had an idea of when it happened, like say if it's something notable, like what I call is an energy stamp of the event, where it always happens at the same time every day,
Yeah.
or every Friday night at midnight, the lamp falls down the stairs,
Holograms of
Well,
activity.
yeah, it's sort of like things that are left there that are not really ghosts. They're not hauntings. They're not conscious beings. They're just like
Mm-hmm.
energy impressions. They're not, it's like a recording that just keeps playing, which is interesting. That is just fascinating that would happen, that this could be stamped somehow, recorded into, how does that work? Is amazing. But they're not personality hauntings. They're not, there's no conscious being there. But then you have ghosts, which are apparently conscious. They do interact. And I think one of the most interesting things that I saw on one of those shows was, I don't remember which one it was, but there was, they picked up on their recording of voices of the ghosts whispering about them, being aware of their presence, saying something like, "Yeah, I see them."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's really interesting. Even if that's made up, it's an interesting thought. Is that, well, yeah, they would be conscious of us, but I guess maybe we would look like ghosts, or maybe, I mean, we're not really in the same dimension, so it must be, I can't imagine what the point of view would be,
Well,
and yeah.
I guess I look at it this way. I'm very torn about what exactly. Um,
Yeah, I have no idea what it is.
I have no idea what it is, and I do know that certain situations, like the other day, and I want to say hello to Chris, and I want to say hello to Sarah from Hawaii, and we will get to you in a minute. I want to say hi to Melissa from South Carolina, and Mara from New Hampshire. I'm looking in the magic mirror.
Oh,
And Emily from Connecticut. So I want to say hi, and we will get to there. But I do want to say that a fun story that when I bought my studio across 36 steps away from my home, and at one time, sorry, at one time I wiggled it. At one time, it was full of mechanics, a divorced couple, two
yeah.
two very abused children,
Oh,
and they left. The house went for an unusually cheap amount of money, like $9,000.
oh,
And I tore the yard apart and got the oil out of the yard and cleared all the energy in the house. And I had a girlfriend that was a carpenter, and she gutted out the house and repainted it, and then the energy of what I did started to fill it up. But there was one room in the back where constantly, I know my son stayed in the house one day with his wife, and they came tearing across to my house and said the wall started exploding, and it started making, pops and loud crashes when
oh,
they were having some extracurricular activity, and. It seemed as if that specific room that saw abuse had some activity in it, and it was not from a dead person, but from a little girl who had seen abuse. And even as she continued to grow up, I could tell whether she was having a hard time in her life, because
oh,
the room would suddenly explode with all of this activity.
hmm.
And now she's a grown up and there's no activity in it. And plus, the house is just absorbs so much good energy and things that I just don't. So I don't think we don't have to be dead to haunt
Well,
houses.
that's true. Actually, most poltergeist activity occurs in homes where there are teenagers or
Mhm.
preteens.
That makes
because
sense.
at that point in their life, their energy levels, well, actually everything about them is so crazy at that point, hormonally and emotionally,
Yes.
and it's like watch those mood swings because they
The
just
age of possession,
oh yeah, it's like
the
of
most
course the kid
possessed
seems
age.
possessed. We were all like that, and
I was really
but the
possessed when
thing
I was
is, if
14.
there's no, yeah, if there's no a psychological vent or some sort of a way to vent that steam, then odd things begin to happen. Especially if it's a really good kid that's like really like well, like tries to be a pleaser for everybody still, even while going through that. You might notice this things being lost, things moving around the house, finding things in odd places,
Joseph, our callers are starting
um,
to pile up. Our callers.
poltergeist actually seeing things maybe fly across the room. Um,
Yeah.
I've never seen this happen with my own eyes. I did hear of it from people I know, and I know that they wouldn't put me on about it. There were other witnesses also, so it's sort of like, wow, and this is coming from a living person. It's almost like a Carrie movie,
Uh-huh.
just think of it,
Let's
but
get
yeah,
let's get let's
I'd say, well, Carrie, of course, is the extreme because it's fiction and it's supposed to be a fun horror movie. It's supposed to be entertainment, so naturally, it all is all over the top. Um, it would be pretty amazing if somebody had that kind of an ability, but that would also be very frightening considering the psychological state of the character
So
of anybody
if you
having.
guys are having activity in your houses or you are having worries and concerns, Joseph and I are going to
Sure.
power wash your concerns away with the 2 readings per call. Hello to Sarah, Russ, and Jan in the call room, and also Melissa and Mara
So
and
who's next? Who would you
and
like to?
Jan. Okay, let us start out with Sarah from Hawaii.
Okay.
Hello, Sarah.
What's
What can we
Sarah's
do for
question?
you?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi. Hello. I was wondering, I was thinking of taking a trip this week, leaving this Friday or Saturday to be with family, and I just wanted to see if that would be a good trip to take.
All righty, Sarah.
I'm still
Did you want to go
shuffling.
first, Joseph, or do you want me to go first? Or
Well, actually, I'm still shuffling.
so, Sarah, what comes through for me says, um, actually, it looks like a very good trip. I show that you will need to have all of your patience. It says that you may find yourself stretched very thin on this trip. And I don't know, is your father alive? Is your father there?
He is, yeah.
And
He is.
is your father kind of a controlling guy going through a lot of issues right now?
Oh, I wouldn't say control, but absolutely going through a lot of issues right now.
Because it says that at this particular time, be careful about what you say, be strong, understand that you may feel a little bit physically exhausted, stretching yourself thin, but whatever you do, make sure that it's smooth for your dad. Okay, Joseph, what do you have?
Well, I'm seeing that it's going to be fine so long as you narrow your focus, because it looks like that you're trying to, uh, you will be trying to do too much, as you might be prone to do. And if you're doing too much and trying to accomplish a lot of things at once, it's not likely it's going to work out very well because your energies will be divided. So, there might be a lot of things you want to accomplish with this trip. And I'd say that, pick a few of the things, and mainly it's the main goal is to enjoy yourself. And I'd say do that, but
Yep.
don't take on anything because then you'll feel overwhelmed and then you'll kind of wish you hadn't gone and stuff like that. So I'd say be fine if you just chill
I
and
agree.
narrow your focus.
May
It should be
I
all right. Yeah. Yeah, and I see the like the King of Wands in the present is presently on your mind, and and it's a mature man. you know. So he's depicted as the reason why it's King of Wands is because he has sort of an overwhelming presence, or strong convictions, very, yeah, you know he's around when he's around. I mean, all he's got to do is stand next to you, and you can just feel it, So, but yeah, but I think it's going to work out fine. But just like I said, narrow your focus, have fun, and don't try to make it more. Don't try to take on too much because it won't work.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Yeah. We have bunches of people in the room, and we got to get.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. We have Emily from Connecticut and in quick, and she says, I recently went back to my spirit path because I worked 15-hour days and neglected my spirit. I am exhausted. I am interested in knowing what you see for me financially over the next 3 months. Thanks so much. Okay, I'm a little confused. I thought you were going to say, where does my spirit want me to be? But it went back to finances.
I had to rethink that question, actually, as I was shuffling, because it kind of shifted on me. I thought, oh, this is what we're talking about.
So, Emily, you're worried about your spirit path, but really you're worried about your finances. So how about Joseph?
Okay, since I reshuffled, and what we got here I'm seeing that, I'm cutting to the chase here, with what I'm seeing is the outcome for the near future. And so it's represented by the Six of Wands. And, of course, wands are work, and this is a question about finances, so that's very appropriate. The Six of Wands, it means that you're going to fulfill your what your goals are at work, or if you're going for that job, you are going to get that goal if you keep working at it the way you have been, because really we can only tell you about the path that you're currently on, and it's apparently leading to this direction, and it's all about happiness and celebration, because it's showing here that you're about to see some results for your effort. That's what I'm seeing.
I would add to that right now I'm going to answer quickly 2 things for you. Emily, what I see is that it says this is a spiritual time to have faith in yourself and faith in your angels, remembering, as I always tell people, that when you're feeling champagne bubbles, that's your angels and guides saying yes. And when you're feeling tired or heavy in your feet, that's your angels saying, no, 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 Emily, don't do it. And so it says, have faith in your intuitive messengers, your angels, your guides. I'm showing you on a powerful path this year. I'm showing you having new adventure and challenges this year. And as far as finances go, I'm going to look quickly at that. When I look at your finances, Emily, I have May, June, July, and actually May shows you coming out of financial worries. June looks very good. July looks very good, but watch out for August, when it says you may make a large purchase that may be a bad decision. So if you're having some, cause to spend a lot of money in August, think twice. Otherwise, I see May, June, and July going fine for you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Okay, we're going to go to, oops, we lost some of our callers.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to go to Russ from Ohio. Hello, Russ. How are you?
Hey, Russ.
Hi, Anne-Marie. Okay, hi. Question today. I had a decision last week between 2 jobs. One was a full-time day job, and the other was a 32-hour-a-week job during the evenings. And I took the second one. And I started training in it this week, but I'm not sure if I necessarily made the right choice. And I was wondering if this isn't it, but something better is coming along the line real quick.
So, may I ask, Russ, are you asking if the choice that you made with the second job is going to work out for you, or are you saying you don't want it, you want to dump it, and you are looking for something else?
Yeah, well, if this one, second one first would work out, and if not, then something else better come.
Okay. Can I have the initials of the job you've gone to?
It's got two long names. It's known by two names. It's B for the first word, F for the second one.
Okay, VUF. It's a VUF job. We're gonna.
Well, it seems to me that at the present time, what I pulled up here is the sun, and it's inverted, and that kind of sounds. Usually this signals a low point in your belief of your own abilities. For some reason, you've taken a knock in your self-confidence, and it's made you feel a little unsure of just about anything, especially making a big change or a move. And basically, a lot of this has to do with she could have been a bad boss you had before. I don't know, but I'm seeing the Queen of Wands, and I don't know. She doesn't sound. I think she might have led to this, but I'm not really quite sure about that. But what I do see in the near future, because of the way you've been made to feel, I'm seeing that you're going to be on the defensive in the future, and you need to watch that because not everyone's going to be a jerk. It's just that you've been treated badly. I'm seeing. So, but I do still see that you will have the advantage. The Seven of Wands is a very good card because it shows that you have the advantage, and you will be once again strong and aggressive, and that's what I see you becoming that way in the choice that you've made. I do see that, expect some criticisms, because it's not always going to be roses, but I do see you not regretting your actions. I do see that you actually have no reason to regret your actions. That's what this card also means. It means regardless of how you're feeling, you should probably not have the regret that you've made the change because or made the decision that you did. Okay. That's what that card is telling you.
Russ, can I ask you, a little earlier, Joseph and I were talking about how when you're extremely sensitive, being in any political environment, especially work, can be a real pain in the butt because you kind of tend to internalize everybody's emotions around you. Do you feel that you have this problem?
Absolutely. Yeah, because I do see the...
Yeah,
I was just going to say, I absolutely agree with you guys.
Because what I'm shown is that you don't even know why, but it seems as if sometimes you feel like you're being picked on, or as if your self-confidence goes all to hell in about 3 months' time. And your reading says that be very cautious that you don't kind of find yourself in the same situation all the time, and that it'll be hard to find that great job if part of the problem is that you internalize so much the energy around you. So what I'm seeing is that as long as you do not protect yourself, as long as you do not find ways to block, there's certain visualizations that you can use to block negative energy. Sometimes thinking of yourself in a pod where you are not allowing anything to touch you energetically or there's so many things you can look on that. In fact, I think that should be the next show, is maybe some hypnotherapy for that. But one of the things I would say is watch out for internalizing the energy around you and finding it tough wherever you go to get a job where you don't feel like crap. And
And try to distance yourself from the nonsense, because actually, those people are jerks. It's not always you. I mean, that's what you have to realize, is that a person might even tend to think, oh my God, what did I do wrong? I mean, because I did see that shot in your confidence where it's just like, oh, I don't want to do anything. I don't know what to do. And, that's because you just have to realize that people are jerks sometimes, and sometimes whole places, sometimes whole organizations. Um, they get built because some jerk. I wasn't using another word, but I don't want to get bleeped or anything. But owns the company, and of course, they only hire people that they feel comfortable with, and they're only comfortable with other jerks. And then before you know it, the whole place is just. I mean, I knew somebody who had to quit a job that she had gone to, and she came back to the place where she was, and I said, "What happened?" And I said, "Were they crazy?" She said, "Yes." She said, "Everybody there was just nuts." She said, "I thought it was me." She said, "It was just, they were all psycho." And she was not somebody that was given to, saying these types of things. She was a very sensible person. Just to have her very matter-of-factly state, yes, they were just nuts. So,
and I think part of that is because you get a bad apple in the mix.
Yeah,
and
it
contaminates the energy at a work environment.
Yeah.
And before you know it, it's kind of like the Trump phenomena, where if you can't beat them, join them.
Oh, well, sometimes it's like the, what do you call them? The harbingers of doom. I mean, as soon as you see them, they occupy this very innocuous space. They're not really anybody, and all of a sudden they're like starting to be around, and they're around more and more and more and more, and you wish that they'd go away, and they won't. And before you know it, they're in charge. Or everything has changed and the job just sucks, because the energy just completely changed, and
unfortunately, we live in a society where the nice guy, the person, the compassionate, sweet person, can easily find themselves lost in a political environment. And all I've got to say, Russ, is that watch out for becoming too sensitive. Listen to what Joseph said. You'll be okay. And as far as finding another job, of course you'll find another job.
Go by feel. How does the place? I mean, if you have an opportunity to see the place, or to get inside of I mean, I don't know what kind of a job or how it exists, but I mean, if it's a brick and mortar, actual physical space, it wouldn't hurt to, like when you're looking for jobs, even it's like, how does it feel to walk in? Do you walk in and think, oh, then maybe you shouldn't apply there.
That would be heavy feeling.
Only if you really have to. Only if you really have to. I mean, if you have nothing else, you do have to take the job sometimes you hate, but sometimes it's a stepping stone. That's the other thing to consider too, is that maybe this place might not be so great, but the potential, though, maybe, perhaps, for learning something else while you're there, maybe gaining a new skill, or getting the heck out of there once you know enough, you know what I'm saying? So consider it to be going to school and getting a check, so you can get out and get something better, because you try to see it that way. Maybe this is not meant to be the final landing. I mean, it's just simply a phase. And use it the way you could. You try to make the most of it. Try to get as much out of it as you can, I'd say, and then keep your eyes open.
Okay, we have Mara from New Hampshire, and thank you very much, Russ. We sure appreciate that call.
Good luck. Yeah.
Thank
They'll
you.
be all right. Yeah, I see them getting tougher there. So.
Okay, Mara says she has a new business card made up, and she's looking for a space to do her work. And do we see this materializing for her? And how do things look for her new business venture? It is healing work.
She's looking for a space, right?
She has her new business card, and she needs to know if that business card is going to be received well, and if she's going to get, the rest is going to fall in place.
Okay, I need to rethink that while I shuffle the cards again.
All right, that's okay. Okay. Well, first of all, Mara, I'm always a very honest reader, and sometimes I try to be diplomatic and say things in a way that here's what comes through.
Are you
I
implying
have
that I don't?
shut up, Joe. I have motivation is upside down, which means that in the past there may have been a situation concerning your healing work where it was very hard for you to either get the confidence or to get things going. It says, be sure, as Joseph said, walk whatever area you have, what that you foresee you're going to have, walk into it and feel it. Because, honey, healing work is all about feeling. So you want to be sure that you feel the energy accurately in the area that you're going to be getting. The other thing I see is that, and please understand, I don't know why this comes up, Mara, but it says walk your talk. In other words, the one thing that I think that some spiritualists and healers do is they may practice Reiki or they may practice psychic reading, but they don't follow their own advice. So what I'm saying is practice what you preach and practice the lifestyle that you would recommend to your clients. You're going to need a lot of flexibility, Mara. So my sense is that there is about a 2-month time frame where I see that you may feel like you're searching for a place. It's just like publishing a book, Mara. The first time that you get into a place may not be when you're in a new business the most fabulous, but what you need is the experience. And I assume that you've had your 1,000 hours of healing time, as most healers are required to have their 1,000 hours. That's very important because you need that time. Be patient. Don't expect instant banners saying thank you and welcome. You may feel that this is your time to practice what you preach and really be very, very flexible. That's all I can say. What do you have to add to this, Joseph?
Well, actually, now I'm seeing what I got here was the Three of Pentacles, and it's upside down, it's reversed. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, the Three of Pentacles is in general fairly positive. It says that, and since we are talking about business here, in regard to work and career, it should be fine. But there's a warning attached to that, and that means you cannot slack off, and you cannot be thinking only of profit. You cannot be thinking of the material gain that might come, okay, from this venture. What you are called upon in order to make this work is to be at your very best at what you are presenting to people and what you're going to do. What are you offering? Whatever it is, I mean, it has to be your absolute best, and it has to come from within, and that has to be your main sight. Everything else will take care of itself. I mean, if this is liked, it will take care of itself. The profit will come. You'll do okay, but you cannot think about that part of it now. You have to really
walk your talk.
You have to walk the walk and talk the talk, and you have to really make it a good show, and you have to really make this work. You have to really not think about anything else but being your very best, and then I see it all working out. Okay, but that's what the Three of Pentacles reversed, that's what the interpretation that I get from it is, that is the card that came up, and it means that you're not allowed here to do shoddy work. I'm just telling you, this card is not going to allow you to do that. You have to, everything you do has to be the best. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but you have to give this your shot. I mean, like really send it, okay? Then it will be fine.
And you may find that you have to offer free work at times to be able to...
don't get wrapped up with feelings of any jealousy or pettiness or fighting with anybody about profits. Do not do that, because then it will all go it will all go out the window. All right.
Anytime you can offer your service, anything that you can get people, it's the card, it's the free services that you offer at times. Like Joseph and I, when we do this, we're giving free readings. That's because you have to show what you do. It's kind of the part of spirituality. And someone told me, Anne, if you ever want to be a rich person, don't go into spirituality.
You have to enjoy it, for one thing. You have to be getting something out of it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just get all, you have to be getting something out of this that is not monetary. You see what I'm saying? I'm not doing this because no one's making me. I'm not doing it because I'm trying to stir up ad for myself. I do this because I like it. I mean, I like appearing on Anne Marie's show, and also I like being on Keen sometimes, but that's for profit. This is all free, and I like it. And it's I like being here with everybody that calls in, but you have to have this feeling. You have to just do it, and but then I see it working out for you. But just remember, you can't slack off, because it really takes your full attention. It takes your energies, and you cannot be worried or get too concerned about what you might get from this. You just have to do it, and the rest will come. And if it's good, it will work. I mean, if people like it, it doesn't mean it's not good, but it has to be liked. And if you don't have an audience, if you don't have customers, you have to get your customers.
You have to create the customers. You have to make the customers.
You have to create them. You have to.
Oops. Joseph froze again.
You have to show them who.
Okay, Joseph, you're going to have to get back in. I'm going to go into Susan from Massachusetts. Hi, Anne-Marie and Joseph. I recently entered into a new relationship. Hi, Joseph, I'm on to Susan. And she says, I recently entered into a new relationship. I am interested if you have any insight about how things are going. And do you see this as a long-term relationship? We have 4 minutes before the show's over.
Susan's in a relationship.
Yes. and may I say one quick thing? Susan, think of every new relationship as entering into a potential new best friend. The most important thing you can do is not project too much into the marriage and the potential of living together and stuff. It's a good thought, but it sometimes gets in the way. And what I have real quick says the most important thing here that comes up is try to curb your jealousy. And remember, all that matters is to train this person how to treat you. Go, Joseph.
Yeah, I'm seeing that maybe sometimes the way you conduct yourself, some people might find it maybe abrasive or strong. Sometimes you might just say things that might hurt people without really intending on doing it. But I would say watch your communications. And watch the way you talk. Maybe you need to allow other people to speak more, and that's what I'm seeing. Is that I'm seeing that things will work, but you need to be a little more back a little bit. Don't push so much. Don't try so hard.
Treat him like a best friend. Treat him like a best friend. Don't think about the romance in the long term. Otherwise, you may scare the crap out of this person.
Live in the moment and just kind of take it slow and kind of enjoy those moments, because that's the fun part. Is just slow your mind down a bit. Really.
I agree, and we have 2 minutes. And Jan, I'm going to take your call next week if you'll please come and visit. We only have 2 minutes, and I want to say, Joseph, give us your Keen name and Facebook information and stuff like that.
Joseph the Lantern Bearer on. If you want to stop in on Facebook and just write fun stuff or share some ideas. On Keen, I'm called the Lantern Bearer. And And so I'm there sometimes. I have not been there too often lately, I must admit, but I'll try to pop in. And I do check my mail in case anybody would like to arrange a reading, rather than just randomly trying to find.
Do you have a price,
people.
Joseph, for personal readings?
Pardon the price?
A
What?
personal reading, 15 minutes for so much time?
Well, actually, I don't know how that works with Keen, but I do know
No,
that
your
it's by the
personal
minute.
stuff. Your personal.
Oh, for
Personal.
personal. I only work through Keen if I do
Okay.
readings. Yeah, or if when I appear on the show, but I don't do. I don't have I'm not set up business-wise with the phone, and I don't know how that would work. I'd have to have a whole business set up for that. I don't have
PayPal
that.
account. PayPal account.
Yeah,
It's
see,
very
I use
easy.
Keen because they manage that whole thing of the relay, and
Yeah.
they do help. I'm not very well business oriented in that, and so it's nice that somebody else. I mean, it's okay that they get a chunk of whatever, because they do take care of quite a bit of the
They
technology
take
that
care
I
of
don't
us.
have to
They're
do
a great company
anything.
to work for. Yep.
Huh?
And it's
Yeah.
they're a great company, and it's a tax write-off at the end of the year.
Well, yeah, and so.
We have 24 seconds, Joseph. Any
We
last
could
words?
end it with. Okay, here we go. We could do. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. I bring the cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance.
Thank
I
you. We're
bring the
done.
cosmic forces into my body, asking for strength, protection, and guidance. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Joseph.
you.
Achieve Radio.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Odell at Achieve Radio's Tarot Joy. Come on upstairs. Grab yourself a tapestry pillow and get a down-home, honest reading with 30 years Master Tarot channeling experience. In addition, I will have a weekly spiritual guest from around the world. That's 2 readings per call for you. After the show, I invite you to come on over to thecallingoflight.com. I offer PayPal readings at 15-minute or 30-minute sections of time. All yours. To thecallingoflight.com.
The oldest and most trusted station of its kind in the world. This is AchieveRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Desi Arnaz Jr. Welcome to Letting Go with Guy Finley. Guy is the best-selling author of Let Go and Live in the Now and is the founding director of nonprofit Life of Learning Foundation. And now, here's Guy Finley.
I have 3 stories to tell you tonight. And as always, each story sets the stage for a larger stage, a more inclusive one. And at the end, the last story is intended to pull the curtain back entirely, if you